My name's Sarah Webster, I'm 52.
I'm Mark Webster, I'm 54.
My name's Jessica Webster, I'm 20 years old.
And I've been through the menopause. I knew quite a lot about the menopause, or I thought I knew quite a lot about the menopause. Before I started going through it, I'd heard about hot flushes.
I knew women got hot flushes.
I knew maybe about the hot flashes and some other symptoms.
Embarrassingly, that was pretty much all I knew.
But it's not overly spoken about, especially not as much as it should be.
I realise now that I know very little, or knew very little, about other effects that the menopause can have on a person.
Well, Sarah had a tough few years. So during COVID, she'd had the AstraZeneca vaccine, which caused a blood clot. She was one of the unlucky ones that it happened to. Had a heart attack, got taken into hospital, got put on loads of meds because of that. So was dealing with taking a lot of medicines and getting tired. She'd lost a lot of energy. And then a couple of years after that, she got food poisoning during a national salmonella outbreak, some chicken. She had some sandwich or salad or something from the supermarket. Got food poisoning, which gave her Crohn's, permanent Crohn's. So two major things had happened, both out of her control, that happened to her.
I didn't really notice any kind of mood swings. I didn't notice any night sweats or anything like that. I didn't want to go out socially. I cancelled social appointments. I let people down within moments' notice because I couldn't be bothered. I didn't have a shower for 3 months because I couldn't be bothered. I was drinking a lot at night. It's like a bottle and a half of wine. Bottle and a half of wine in a night just to get to sleep.
She started drinking more and drinking earlier in the day, so she'd finish work and immediately have a glass of wine.
My mum became very distant with me and very irritable.
I stopped talking to my family. I've not fallen out with them. I just, like you normally send hi texts or updates and stuff. I just stopped doing that.
She used to talk about, she feels like she's got this sense of an impending doom all the time. I remember those two words. And she used to say she felt like she was under a heavy blanket all the time. That was how she described it.
And she would have episodes of highs and very, very low lows.
And then one night, I was sat down here on my own, pissed, drunk, and I just got this. It's very weird to describe it. It's very difficult to describe, but I just got this feeling like somebody had put a very heavy blanket on me, kind of draped it over my head, and I sunk into the settee, and I got up off the settee, went into the dining room, and I have lots of drugs for my heart and my tummy, and I had a box of codeine tablets and a box of amitriptyline tablets, and they were both full packets, and I just popped all the pills and shoved them in my mouth and downed a glass of water, and then thought, shit, what have I done? So I went upstairs to tell Mark. So I woke him up, taken a load of tablets. And his response was, "You better not be shitting me." And I was like, "No, I'm not." So he took me in his car, took me to A&E, and I remember crying and being so full of regret and disappointment and embarrassment. I do remember. I promised your dad I would never ever do it again. I was sure, I was convinced I would never do it again. I was so disgusted with myself. And then, like you do, I carried on working. Because I'm alright, you know. Come on, you're professional, you know, you've got responsibilities and can't be seen to be failing. So I carried on working through January. Still though, drinking lots of wine every night. Still not giving a toss about work. And I was drunk one night, beginning of February, again sat on the sofa, and I got this overwhelming feeling again. And at first I was like, just don't be silly, Sarah, you know. But then I got to thinking like, well, they'll be all right without me. So I just went into the kitchen again. And I put the kettle on, and I remember this distinctly. I put the kettle on, I emptied a full box of codeine tablets and a full box of beta blockers this time, and I made a cup of tea, and I logged onto my work laptop and I emailed my boss where I was up to with everything. You know, just in case I get knocked over by a bus tomorrow, here's where I'm up to, you know, kind of thing. And then I downed all the tablets, all of them, and had a cup of tea. And then thought, shit. And I went back upstairs and woke your dad up. And anyway, I went to hospital and I was devastated because I wasn't dead. I remember being distraught. It hadn't worked. And I thought, what the fuck have I got to take to kill myself? And the psychiatrist said, I'll go and see your GP. Go and ask your GP to put you on HRT. So I made an appointment to go and see the GP, and I said, I explained to him that Mark had suggested it. You know, could it be the menopause? And they'd suggested that I come and see the GP and ask for HRT. And he said no. And then we come to the beginning of March, and again I'm drunk, sat on the settee late at night on my own. I get this really massively overwhelming feeling of doom. So I went into the dining room, I got my box of pills, I opened 2 boxes of codeine, and I made little piles, and I made a cup of tea. I thought, if 2 boxes of codeine don't kill me, then fuck all will. I'm going to have to go in front of a train. So I took them, I had my tea, and then again it was like an awakening. I thought, oh shit, what have I done? So I went upstairs, woke Mark up. But what they said in A&E was, they said, you're not safe, Sarah. You're not safe at all. And you need to be somewhere where you will be safe. So we want you to go into an acute mental health unit. and we don't know where that will be in the country. We'll just need to find a bed somewhere. So I said okay, and later that night they came and said, right, we've got your bed, and they put me in a taxi with the nurse and my handbag and the clothes I was wearing and drove me to this hospital. I had no idea where I was in terms of the country. The nurses let me in, took my bag off me, gave me a pat down check, made me a cup of tea, and I stayed there for 2 weeks. Met some awesome people, and by the time I came out, I was a different person. But one thing they did do was they said, we're going to go and see a GP. So they made an appointment with a different GP at the same health centre. And the psychiatrist actually went to see my GP. And straight away she said, of course I'll give her HRT. So anyway, I started these patches, and literally within 3 or 4 weeks they were kicking in. I felt in control of me. So I've been on HRT ever since. So I've been on HRT for about 12 months now. I don't intend to come off it for a long time. And they have said that I had an acute, severe depressive episode, is what they said. And they think it was caused by the menopause.
Well, learn about the menopause. Learn about what it's capable of. I think it's not enough is known about it by men, women, the general public. It's not, we've started to learn more about the signs of cancer, and you see adverts on TV for it and stuff like that, but you don't really see stuff about the menopause, but it's just as dangerous.
The menopause is not a taboo subject. It needs to be talked about. It should be talked about at all stages of life, to men and women.
Just keep an eye on your mums, your sisters, your wives, and your daughters.